For all the girl dads that are listening to this conversation with my daughter, what is a piece of advice that girl dads should know about raising daughters? What is something that is super important?
What is a piece of advice that girl dads should know about raising daughters? I would have to say communication,
Okay.
being affectionate,
Okay.
showing vulnerability, and being soft and gentle, but also being hard and calloused. I would say there's so much to that question, but I know that you're a man. Like, my dad is a man, and he's a man of his word. He's strong. He's brave. He'd do anything for our family. He'd fight for us. But it's when you can take a step back from that and approach me on like a gentle, soft level to where I feel like you're trying to understand me. And then it opens me up a bit more to want to tell you things and to tell you how I feel, because you're approaching me, matching my energy of like, oh, he's not going to yell at me for this. He's not snapping at me saying I'm a disappointment, or he's not proud of me, or I can't do anything right. You know, I feel there's a lot of kids that struggle with a lot of I'm just going to speak for daughters right now that struggle going to their parents because they're worried what their parents are going to say or think about them, what they did, the decision that they made, you know? And so I noticed that you work on yourself with being softer and more gentle with having daughters. And it goes a long way, because we're not sons, you know, we're very emotional creatures.
Very.
And so even when we've had our crying moments together where you've gotten really vulnerable with me, makes me feel more connected to you. And it's even more of a safe place to come to my dad when instead of letting his anger peak, he can soften and be like, I'm here for you if you need me. What's on your mind right now? Like, how do you feel?
So that's a pretty important aspect to be able to share those intimate, passionate, emotional moments together.
Being compassionate with one another. It makes me feel like I can fully be like myself with you too. I don't have to, and I'm speaking for me here too, and so I feel this could definitely benefit other daughters and their fathers too. It's just you both have to meet in the middle. And you and I have struggled before. I'm just going to put this out there with communicating is not our strongest, like, it's gotten better over the years, because we've worked on it. But this is just a real raw conversation. It's not easy to do. You guys both have to try and meet in the middle.
For sure.
It goes for any relationship. And I feel it goes for dad and daughter relationships too.
And that's a lot of trust.
A lot of trust.
And it's one of those things that has to be worked on. It's not just hey, we have this relationship, or hey, we're going to communicate right now about this very important thing that's going on in your life. Like, this is something that needs to be built a foundation on and constantly working on, and letting your kids know that you will listen and you'll always be there for them.
And I don't know if that's, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if that's a cliche answer or like what a lot of people say, but you're not, I know it's different for fathers raising sons and fathers raising daughters, you know, because we're very emotional, and I feel boys are too, but they just have a different way of showing it, you know? I feel like I could name a bunch of different things, but there's just communication in our house. We're just trying to communicate, like, or we start a conversation, like what we've worked on with each other is, hey, can I that's how we approach each other. It's like, hey, can I communicate something with you? No matter what mood you're in, that like tells the other person to kind of like take a step back and be like, okay, he or she, with both of us, are trying to talk about something with each other. And like we've had those, like, that's what I'm saying. I can't imagine not talking with you or being so mad at each other or just not having a relationship with each other, not caring enough to want to get to know each other. You know what I mean? Like, I feel fathers should also trying to learn their daughters too.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Because
get to know them.
No matter how much I would want you to be something and try to sculpt you into something, it's your own life. And that was something that took me a while to realize as a dad. Like, I want this. I want these certain kids, and I'm going to raise them this way, and they're going to turn
they're
into
gonna
this.
be like this.
They're going to be I'm going to sculpt them into this, which can happen. But children are going to take their own path, and they're going to develop their own life. And so that was something that was cool to be able to grow together on, is just getting on the same level and communicating and being able to talk.
And I want to mention this. The affectionate part in hugging your daughters and spending time with your daughters and speaking words of affirmation over your daughters and to them, making sure they know how you feel about them, how you view them, is so important. Like, I've never had to be like thinking, oh, I wish my dad did a better job at that. You've always spoken life into me, and that is what I feel creates like why I have a little no cloud over my head. And I give my parents props so much for that, because you always make sure to hug me, because that's how I feel love, is through physical touch, you know? So you always hold me. It's not just like a pat on the back. I don't like it when you just pat. So dad always holds me and hugs me, you know, and we just kind of stand there. That shows so much, more than words could ever. But there is something with us daughters about when our dads speak life into us and build us up. There can be those breaking down points where you're trying and then building them back up.
For sure.
The constructive criticism is needed, for sure. But it's constantly just even random words of affirmation throughout the day, or like if telling them how beautiful they are, how much they mean to you,
how proud I am of you,
how smart you are. Like, you're like, even you just starting to sing, I'm the most incredible person, you know, like I'm like it just it fills me up. And I don't feel, with my own dad pouring into me, I'm not looking for it as much on the outside from other people.
For sure.
And
that's also a huge fear of mine. And I think that's what helps me speak so much words of affirmation into you.
I do love
because
that.
I want to set the bar so high, so when these boys come along, they don't even compare. And I don't ever want to have to worry about you finding validation in another man.
Right.
Until that moment comes,
right.
when you choose to be in that relationship. Because I watch a lot of the girls your age, and it's terrifying. It terrifies me seeing how these girls get sucked into these relationships so quick, how they evolve and escalate so quick because their fathers are absent at home. They might have a dad at home. They might have a father at home, but they don't have a dad at home that's in their life, that is breathing these words into them, involved. And I'm involved in every aspect of your life. There might be something I don't know about that I'm not involved in, but I feel for the most part that I'm involved in the majority of everything that's going on in your life. And I want to be able to be there for all of that. And that's a huge, that's a part of being I feel a true dad is raising the bar so high when it comes to men. I think that is a huge part of being a father. A real dad is to be able to breathe as much life into your children, so that way they don't need to seek it. They're not looking. I don't want a daughter that's looking elsewhere because she's missing something at home, because
I feel a lot of it is.
I pick a bottle instead. I'm in the alcohol. I'm watching porn. I'm doing all the other shit that these dads have excuses to be sucked away and pulls your attention, your phone. Like, that's my big thing. And so that's where it's like, it's scary, because I see how these girls are so easily manipulated by these kids, and it's a game, you know, and it's like, it's all a challenge now. And they're not being taught how boys are thinking at this age. They're not being shown what's the next play. This is what's going to happen. They're not being guided. They're just turned into the world, and it's terrifying. Like, I sit here and I look at some of these dads sometimes, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're not, just guide your kid. Just help point her in a direction. But instead, these dads don't even care. And these kids are just walking out that front door with zero guidance. And it's really sad to watch. I know you see it in a lot of people that you know. And
Dad, a father in a daughter's life, not even just a father, and involved An involved father is the pillar that stands on the foundation, or all the pillars. And that's how I look at it. I'm like, Jesus Christ is the foundation. You've got the dads that hold up the pillars of the house, of the home, with who you're becoming as a young woman. And that's, I don't know, I just thought of that, but I thought it was just a cool way of looking at it. And that's just to paint a picture for you guys, because no one talks about that enough. You could have a father at home. Your father could be at home. But if he's not involved, there's a difference. You could tell.
100%.
And I'm not saying that out of any jabs towards anyone whatsoever, but when my dad is so involved and he's just there. He's always there. I'm not afraid to come to you for anything. Like I said, obviously it's not perfect, and we don't have perfect moments all the time, and we'll fight and we'll argue. That's just being human. But I've never been like, oh, my dad's too much, or I'm
sure there's been some times.
I don't get along with my dad. I've never said that. I've never said I hated you. I've never said I didn't like you.
We've never gotten to that point.
But here's the thing, even as mad as I've been at you, I'm like, I sit there because I'm like, why do I understand where he's coming from? And that'll madden me even more in the moment, because I don't want to understand, but I do. You have showed me there's only two men that have showed me this, okay? And that's Jesus, and that's you. And it's what true unconditional love feels like, looks like, sounds like, everything. That's true unconditional love. And I've always said that from the beginning, because you're not conditional with me. You've been there since day one. And I know you always will be. And that's the hardest part for you, is when it's hard for you to like loosen that and let me go little bits at a time. I never want you to let me go. That's never what I asked to do. But I know when you like want to like uncover the flower a little bit, you're like, eh. Like I feel like you like go like this with it. Kind of like, you just want to keep it. But it's like the best way of looking at it. And I've always looked at it like that. I'm like, you just think I'm this pretty little flower that you just want to protect from anything. And so. Just
preserve your innocence. That's all I want.
It. Yeah.
I love you.
I love you more.